right, folks, Comcast watching the NFL Network. Late breaking news, Josh Gordon, wide receiver of the Cleveland Browns, has been denied reinstatement into the league. As I mentioned in our last blog, we will be at Jimmy Joe Savage's Legacy Studios tonight in East Liverpool. And yes, Ted Arnaud will be on the AT&T Sports Line talking NFL, and that will be one of the big stories. He, along with Dave Pascal and I tonight as well, will look back at the Kentucky Derby, always dreaming the winner. And will this amazing 3-year-old have the opportunity to do it again on May 20th at the Preakness Stakes? Listen, you know how much I love ice cream, but real ice cream. You see that little logo there? Brewster's. And if you're thinking something special for Mother's Day, you know she called. She wants ice cream. My man Norm Ely is on the Comcast Newsline. He wants to be the mayor of his hometown. And you know, I love Monaca, from the SOI to all of those wonderful places that I have been associated with for decades. But I love the United States Postal Service in this town. Stamp out hunger. You see this bag? Please. You've already gotten it from the Postal Service. Put in some non-perishables, put it out on the porch, and they will pick it up on Saturday. A lot of folks sponsoring that effort, and they do great work. Now, Norm, let's talk about your lifelong love affair with Monaca. You know, one of the things that amazed me when I was doing a little work today, kind of putting some notes together, only 25 miles from the city of Pittsburgh, still has somewhat of a thriving main street when a lot of these river communities have lost everything. But in 1940, at the peak, just a little over 7,000 in population, and the census in July of 2016, 5,600 people. So the numbers have shifted, but not that much. So there is a lot happening, and especially with this Shell petrochemical plant, the future looks very bright. Phoenix glass still a big fixture in this town. So you want to be mayor. My question is, being a borough manager in Rochester for years and managing Rochester Township, you understand government. How do you hope to make your hometown grow? Because guess what? It's going to happen. Thanks for joining us.
Sure, Rob. I appreciate you having me. You know what? I think Monaca has great potential. The downtown, you know, we're getting the business district hopefully back to life. You know, the Shell plant coming down is going to have a lot of ancillary businesses. So, you know, bringing the downtown back to life, bringing the police department. We have a new chief here in Chief Peary, and I think he is going to help with that. I'd like to see some walking patrols, you know, having our police walk downtown in the main street so that the town is safe. The mayor is in charge of the police department, and that's one thing I would like to bring to Monaca is that, you know, and the population has stayed. I mean, you look at the other towns around us, you know, when J&L, of course, went down in the early 80s, there was an exodus out of Beaver County, and Monaca's pretty well held their ground with the population, and it's because people like the local town feel, you know, it's a great town to live in. I live there. I've lived my whole life there. You're a resident. I mean, you see it, you know, in the downtown Monaca area. And I think it's a great place to raise your kids. Central Valley School District, one of the best school districts around now, you know, with the merger of Monaca and Center. And I think it's great, and I think I can do great things for the community. My experience, you know, I've been a township manager for 5 years, borough treasurer and secretary in Patterson Heights for 4 years before that. Not to mention my 12 years on Monaca Council, 8 of those being council president from 01 until 13.
One of the things that we've always talked about, you're smart when it comes to money and figures. And, you know, my family, my children and their mother still live in that great community of Rochester Township. And I loved it there. I grew up there. And I see how that place has evolved under your leadership. And you've really found a way to make that dollar stretch. Do you plan on bringing those same skills as the mayor of Monaca if elected?
I believe so. I mean, as the mayor, I don't have a lot of say on budgetary items, the voting aspect, but I will get the floor at the council meetings, and I will definitely, you know, tell them how I feel about the budget, and definitely got to make things stretch. And you know, everyone wants their road paved this year. Of course, you can't do that, but I think we can get, you know, stretch some dollars and some financing. You know, it's a lot about refinancing bonds and your loans. You can get that money to do your streets or to do your water lines. So, you know, we did that back when I was council president, and Mario's doing a good job now. He's doing a great job. They paved a lot of roads this year, and I think we can stretch those dollars out and get a little bit more bang for our buck.
You know, whether it's Leone or Boer and Mayor Adeline, they are big believers in you, and you realize this is going to be a tall task, because one of the things that I've noticed, and I've done a lot of traveling in my life and time, and I'm in the business of news, so I'm always plugged into what's happening throughout this region. You guys have really done it right here in Monaca, and I've said this many times. When I decided to come back, there was no other place in Beaver County truly that I wanted to live. You've got a great police department. David Puri, you mentioned him. You've got multiple fire stations. Many of those men are friends of mine and women who are involved in these wonderful things that mean government, from your water department, your borough, as far as out there doing what they have to do, plowing snow, street sweeping. You're rare to be a town this size to still have all of that under one roof. How can that be in 2017 that it just seems to work, and it works seamlessly, and for you to keep that ball rolling in that direction, it's not going to be easy? What do you have to say about that, Norm?
You know, it is, Rob. A town as small as Monaca, a borough, not many places have their own police department, own water, own sewer. The amenities we have in Monaca. I think people care, like myself. I'm a lifelong Monaca guy. That's why I'm running for mayor. I'm not running to make money, because, this isn't really a paid position, So, a lot of people think the mayor is paid. I mean, it's a nominal, I think $200 a month. That's going to come out to about 10 cents an hour or less. So I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I love the town I live in, I grew up in. I like to see it prosper more. It's a great town, and the people on council and the mayor, like John Adeline now, Mr. Primo, and John Adeline Sr. before him, they care about Monaca as I do, and I think that's why it's stayed the way it is, because the people on council and the mayor care about the town they live in.
Well, safe streets, clean streets, and you can actually do some window shopping on Main Street, which I absolutely love. Norm, I'm going to let you go, but before I do, a lot of people I have met in my life who are involved in politics, and I've said this many times in the past, 99% and even 3/4%, if you want to tag on to that 99, really do it because they have passion for what they believe in. You have a lot of responsibilities being a business owner. I know you've got a DJ service. I know that you have a full-time gig in Rochester Township, which is a lot of work. Small town America isn't easy as it looks, folks, as far as running government day to day. And I've said, you look at the state level, you look at the national level, it's always the grassroots, and it always begins at this level. Is this truly because your mom and dad and you growing up as an only child, this has always been your home, and it was important to them raising you and going to school in Monaca and seeing that whole transformation, which was a beautiful blueprint as far as Central Valley? I don't know if anybody could ever do a merger better. Is this just because you want to give back all of the love that you have got from this town and growing up in this town, and this is the best way you see it possible to happen?
I do. I grew up a block away from John Adeline, former county commissioner, former mayor of Monaca, and I grew up a block away from him, helping him, at the park, Adeline Park, in the summers, helping him with the Monaca Recreation Board. I've been a member of that since I was probably 20 years old. So him schooling me and just seeing what Mr. Adeline did back in the 80s and 90s, I think that's what put it into me the most, was John Adeline, just, the love for the town. And, I grew up in this town, and I like to see it keep moving forward. I don't want to move backwards. But, John Adeline, the current mayor, Mr. Adeline's son, has some business in his employer, and he couldn't run this time. He asked me, "Do you think you could run?" So John Adeline Jr. is backing me, and so I think that's it right there. I mean, Mr. Adeline was my biggest influence getting into local government.
Well, listen, a lot of those people that you mentioned, especially Senior, was a huge mentor of mine. John Adeline, as he used to call everyone governor, because he knew so many people, but also people like Connie Javins. And, you mentioned, we talked about Mario Leone and that. It's a wonderful town, and I know that you're doing this with your heart on your sleeve. And I just wish you a lot of luck, and I thank you so much for taking